Welcome back to Public Eye News. A lot has happened since we left for break, so let's dive right in. Today on Public Eye News, trial starts for 4 accused in the Michigan governor kidnap plot and over 1,100 homes evacuated in Florida for wildfires.
Later, I will be giving you your weather update, and Michael Cudahy will have your sports update. Hello, my name is Brendan Ford.
And I'm Madeline Plattenberg, and this is Public Eye News. In Grand Rapids, Michigan, a jury selection begins Tuesday in a trial of 4 men who are accused of scheming plans to take hold of Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The motives behind the plans were to retaliate against Whitmer's stay-at-home policies and COVID-19 restrictions, and that were put in place during the early months of the pandemic. Adam Fox, Brandon Caserta, Barry Croft Jr., and Daniel Harris's plans took to gun drills in the woods, secret messaging, and driving in northern Michigan to decipher how to blow up a bridge while scouting Whitmer's second home. The trial could last for more than a month in federal court in Grand Rapids, and Whitmer isn't expected to attend. In a separate case, authorities in state court are prosecuting 8 men who are accused of aiding the group. And in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Rick Snyder, a former Michigan governor, is facing misdemeanor charges in the Flint water crisis. Snyder wants to avoid testifying in a civil trial involving engineering firms that are being sued over liability for lead-contaminated water. Snyder's attorney said he would invoke his right to remain silent if called as a witness in the ongoing civil trial in Ann Arbor. The Detroit Free Press reported that a judge scheduled a hearing for March 15th on Snyder's request that a subpoena be set aside. Snyder had an on-the-record interview with lawyers in the lawsuit. This was prior to being charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of willful neglect of duty, according to Brian Lennon.
Northern Michigan University has sent an email to all staff and students and faculty revising the mask mandate in response to the CDC's new mask statement. KN95 masks will still be required in labs and classrooms, but will no longer be required in any other indoor area of NMU's campus. If a student or staff member has a compromised immune system or visits and interacts with family members with a compromised immune system, masks are still highly recommended. Should COVID cases rise, NMU students and staff must be prepared to revert back to the mask requirement, and NMU will continue to give KN95 masks free of charge. And 31 projects across the state of Michigan meant to prevent and control water-based and land-based invasive species will be receiving money from the Michigan Invasive Species Grant Program. The $3.6 million that this program is providing will be used to prevent the introduction of new invasive species, strengthen early detection and response, and to limit and control widespread. Back in 2014, legislation approved $5 million of annual funding to address invasive species, with $29 million being awarded to these projects in total. And deadly tornadoes ravaged central Iowa over the weekend, killing at least 7. The same storm that brought the destruction has also now hit some other Midwestern states. CBS News' Laura Podesta reports.
An estimated EF3 tornado ripped through Madison County, Iowa Saturday with winds reaching over 200 miles per hour. Homes and lives were destroyed. 3 members of one family, the father and a sister and brother ages 5 and 2, are among the dead.
On this side of the fireplace, we had all of our kids' toys.
Shannon Brown's family was spared in the storm. Her home was not. Now hundreds in the Des Moines community are coming out to offer support and clean up.
You know, you really realize who, cares about you.
50 miles southeast of Des Moines, Lucas County was also hit by a twister. Volunteers, including construction crews, worked through the weekend to help people get back on their feet.
This is what I love about rural Iowa, is that everybody comes together when something happens.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds toured the damage and got emotional talking about the resiliency of the community.
I'm proud of Iowans and the way that they always step up and respond, and I'm so proud of the local leaders and the coordination that takes place every time we have an emergency disaster like this.
It's estimated more than 50 homes in central Iowa were either damaged or destroyed by the storms. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
After this break, we will be back with weather and national news.
Can you all live the ultimate retirement? You can.
Acclaimed personal finance expert Susie Orman provides essential advice to make your retirement more successful and secure.
Every little action that you take can make a tremendous difference. It's never too soon to begin. Fear no more.
Susie Orman's Ultimate Retirement Guide.
Tonight at 8 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. My name is Brendan Ford, and I will be giving you your weather for today. If you take a look behind me at the Northern Michigan University Academic Mall, you can see the snow on the ground, but it is quite sunny. However, it's still cold out there, so bundle up. If we look into the current conditions, we can see it is mostly cloudy with a temperature of 28 degrees, winds heading out of the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour with a barometric pressure of 29.88 and steady. Looking into tonight, we can expect some clear skies with a low of 17 degrees, and we have some winds heading out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. And looking into tomorrow, those clear skies will continue. It will be mostly sunny with a high of 38 degrees, so might even be able to get away with just a hoodie, but still be safe and bundle up. Winds heading out of the south-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's look all over the UP. If we look at the east and south half of the UP, we can see it is cloudy all over with a temperature of 28 in Sault Ste. Marie, 30 degrees in Manistee, over in Escanaba 30 degrees. If we look down at Menominee, 32 degrees, and over in Iron Mountain, it is 28 degrees. Now, if we look at that south or the west half of the UP, we can see over in Ironwood, it is 26 degrees and mostly sunny. Looking up at Houghton, we can see it is 28 degrees and mostly sunny, and here in beautiful Marquette, we see that it is 28 degrees and partly cloudy. Let's get into them future conditions. Looking ahead, on Wednesday, we can see a high of 26 and a low of 8 degrees. On Thursday, a high of 20 and a low of 6 degrees. And on Friday, a high of 26 and a low of 13 degrees. It will be mostly cloudy throughout those days, so expect some clouds. Let's get into your national news.
More than 1,000 homes in Panama City, Florida were forced to evacuate on Sunday due to huge wildfires in the Florida Panhandle. Firefighters battled a 9,000-acre fire on Bertha Swamp Road and an 841-acre fire on Atkins Avenue. The Atkins Avenue fire destroyed 2 structures, damaging another 12 homes late Friday. A third fire developed Sunday, forcing evacuation of a 120-bed state-operated nursing home. Local authorities don't know when residents will be able to return to their homes. A shelter was opened at the Bay County Fairgrounds for displaced residents by the county. Puerto Rico's governor announced on Monday that the use of face masks indoors will be eliminated. This new protocol will go into effect on Thursday with a few exceptions, including face masks still being required in health facilities and nursing homes. Starting March 10th, domestic travelers are no longer required to present proof of vaccination, fill out a currently required form, or a negative COVID-19 test. Governor Pedro Pierluisi is also lifting all capacity restrictions for public and private business, and proof of vaccination is no longer required to enter. The U.S. is considering new sanctions against Russia over its continued invasion of Ukraine. Russia's offensive has not gone as well planned as planned, leading to higher casualties on both sides and a new humanitarian crisis for Ukrainian refugees. Skylar Henry has more details from the White House.
The Biden administration is considering a ban on importing Russian oil into the U.S.
I think there's very strong bipartisan support to cut off Russian oil and gas sales to the United States.
The White House has been reluctant to do so because it would force already spiking gas prices to skyrocket.
This notion that somehow banning Russian oil would raise prices on American consumers is an admission that this guy, that this killer, that this butcher, Vladimir Putin, has leverage over us.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky released a new video calling on the U.S. and all Western allies to ban Russian oil to ratchet up the economic consequences for their war. President Biden held a private video conference with the leaders of France, Germany, and the UK to talk about the sanctions, as well as the latest situation on the ground in Ukraine.
Our message to Moscow, our message to Russia, to President Putin, end the war. End it now.
Russia has said it would agree to a safety corridor to allow civilians to escape war-torn areas. But those ceasefire attempts have not held.
More strikes have killed and wounded civilians as they try to leave the cities that are being surrounded by Russian forces.
More than 1.5 million people have made it out of Ukraine, the largest wave of refugees in Europe since World War II. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
After this break, we'll be back with your sports.
Do you feel less happy than just a few years ago? You are not alone. But this show is about happiness. And I'll show you how to use your brain to be 30% happier, have more energy, and even a better memory in just 30 days. And that's my mission today.
Tuesday night at 9:30 on WNMU-TV.
Hi there. The NMU Wildcats hockey team took on Lake Superior State over the weekend and needed all 3 games to advance to the CCHA semifinal. Friday was a 5-1 win, but Saturday was a tough loss, and it looked like it could be the last of the season. But goal by goal, they clawed their way back to a 5-4 win after trailing by 2 midway through the second period. Mac Byers sparked the comeback with a nifty net front goal, followed up by Trevor Cosgrove tying the game. Hank Crone then gave the Cats the lead on the power play, with Tanner Vecchio scoring his 3rd of the year and giving the Cats the insurance goal that they would need. The NMU Wildcats will be traveling to Mankato to play the Minnesota State Mavericks. The Cats have beaten them once in the team's 4 meetings this season, being outscored 7-17. And turning our heads to some more exciting games in the NBA yesterday, the Brooklyn Nets and Boston Celtics faced off in the TD Garden, with Jason Tatum dropping 54 points on Kevin Durant and the Nets winning 126-120. We also saw the Suns return to Milwaukee, and the Bucks didn't need 6 games to beat them this time, as Chris Middleton dropped 44 in the 132-122 home victory. And the Knicks took a trip across the country to play the Clippers in Los Angeles, with Emmanuel Quickley just 4 assists shy of a triple-double, dropping 21 points in the win to go with his 10 rebounds. An American Formula One team, Haas, has decided to cut ties with Russian fertilizer company and title sponsor Earl Collie, meaning that Nikita Mazepin is out of a Formula One drive due to his status as a paid driver. Many hands have gone up reportedly to take this seat, with Haas reserve driver Pietro Fittipaldi being the likely favorite. But considering the team's close relationship with Ferrari, Antonio Giovinazzi could see himself back in F1 sooner than expected. Oscar Piastri is another likely candidate, as the most recent F2 champion is currently the reserve driver for Alpine, as the Alpine Academy driver was unable to secure a seat in F1 for this season.
And now on to some more racing news of a different kind, though. Not even a snowstorm could put out the spark of the ceremonial start to the Iditarod sled dog race. After the cancellation due to COVID last year, fans gathered in Anchorage, Alaska to watch the race's 50th ceremonial start. The dog sled racers, known as mushers, had to show proof of vaccination and will isolate at the checkpoints to be cautious as to not possibly spread COVID to the Alaskan native villages. The race began on the 5th, and winners are expected to be arriving in Nome, Alaska on the 14th. And while some winter lovers are out enjoying the Iditarod, there are several ice fishing. However, the last thing you would want is your ice fishing shanty to blow away. 50-mile-per-hour winds blew an ice fishing shanty about a mile away from its original location, across a bay in the Thumb region of Michigan. The 3 men occupying the shanty made it back to the shore safe, with no apparent injuries, and refused medical treatment. They told deputies that they were aware of the storm coming and did not realize how powerful the wind would be. Wow, you really got to be careful with that wind out there.
Yeah, the wind can be dangerous. Just think about frostbite. It might be like only a couple degrees out, but because of wind chill, it feels a lot colder than it is.
On my ride back up here, actually, it was really bad, the wind was, but it looks like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Public Eye News.
I'm Michael Cudahy.
And I'm Brendan Ford. We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.